Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So in the previous videos we looked at different basics of web development. We talked about HTML, CSS, covered a lot of basic stuff. We touched some intermediate stuff as well. We actually built a landing portfolio website with a lot of elements in there. We talked about forms. We actually published our website on GitHub pages, and if you followed those videos, make sure to put a link to your website in the comment box below this video, and I would love to go check those out. If you haven't done it, you can go ahead and check those videos out. I would definitely recommend you to check those out if you don't know much about HTML and CSS, because what I'm going to talk about in this video, you're gonna need some basic knowledge of web development, HTML, CSS, how the web page is built, the elements in the page. And so please make sure go check those videos out, and I put a link to them in the top right corner of this video, I guess over here, and also in the description box below the video. But anyways, in this one we are going to use all that we've learned to actually combine web development and data science, and use some styling to make changes to an R Shiny application that we built together. And now this is not going to be a R Shiny tutorial. For now, we're just going to get started. We're gonna use like the template project that Shiny will give us using Rstudio, and then we're gonna style that as you see over here. We're gonna see how we can like change font colors, font sizes, even like the color of this bar over here. So we are going to tap into the Chrome DevTools, and you should be familiar with that by now if you followed the previous videos. And then as you can see here, we're gonna like check how we can change these colors. We're gonna inspect different elements. So there's a lot of things that we're gonna do, but again, these are gonna be very basic, and we will build on top of this in the next video. So I'm very excited about this. This is something that I've always liked, data science and web development, just the two things that I really love, and then we're trying to combine these together. So I hope you guys are also excited, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, I'm not gonna spend too much time on the R specific stuff right now, but do want to let you guys how you can get the Rstudio and R installed on your machines if you don't have it already. Real quick, you can go to the rstudio.com website, and then there should be able to go to products, Rstudio, and then Rstudio desktop. You can go to download the for desktop, and we are gonna work with the free version, so don't worry about it. Here I'm gonna download, and then it's gonna give you the option to download it for your OS, but keep in mind that first you need to install R itself, so it will also tell you here. So you can click on this link over here, and then here, for example, again I have Mac OS, so I'm gonna go there, and then I have like the Apple Silicon, so I'm gonna just like download this one, and then I'll have R installed, and then here we can get basically the Rstudio. So it's not a complicated process, very simple. Once you have both R and Rstudio installed, you can open Rstudio, and it's basically gonna be like this. You have like a terminal console right now. Like I am actually inside a directory. Like you can see here, you might just not see this, it might be different, it probably will be different for you guys, but that doesn't matter. What we're gonna do, we're gonna actually go and create a new brand new R Shiny app. So to do that, you can go to file, and it's like doesn't matter if you're on Mac or Windows, just go to file, and then you can do like a new project over here. And then you probably won't get this, but I'm getting it because I was like in a different folder. So here we're gonna select the new directory, and then like I said, we're gonna have a Shiny application. So once we do that, we can just create a new directory for ourselves. You can browse to wherever you want. So for example, I'm gonna go and create a new folder here. Let's do Shiny app, or actually we can do like first Shiny app, and then create, and then it's gonna take you in the folder. You could have done this outside of R, and then like go to that directory right from here, and then once you do that, you can just add a name for it, whatever you want. It could be like the same name over here. So I'm gonna do first Shiny app, and then let's do create project, and hopefully you won't get any errors or anything. What you will be this like shown after you do that is gonna be like this whole window again, but you'll have an app.r file open over here. You have your console down here, and then you should see at least app.r, and then the project name, the directory name that you gave to it, first Shiny app.r project. This is your Shiny app project. Basically, you can like go to the directory and double click on it, and it will open it in Rstudio. So now that we have this is a basic Shiny app. We could have like started from scratch, but I didn't really want to go through all that. This is just a basic good starter for us. As you probably know, we're going to use the Shiny library. So if you don't have that installed, you will going to have to go to console over here and install .packages, type it, and then put Shiny over here, and then enter, and it should install it for you. So that's all we will need for this video. So once you do that, you can see here we have our UI server, and then we have our Shiny app, which is referring these to. And again, this is not like a R tutorial, so I'm assuming you know these things, and this is going to basically be more like adding some styling to what you get from like an R Shiny app. So basically, if I wanted to give you like a quick refresher on like how like our boilerplate, for example, is for Shiny, you'll have like a UI. Normally you put it in a fluid page, and then you'll have your server, which is a function, and then you have your Shiny app here. So this is like boilerplate that you guys have to use all the time when you're doing Shiny app. And that's obviously when you use both UI and server in one file. You could like separate these, but that doesn't matter for now. So what I'm gonna do, let's Control Z. We're good here. Always I do Command or Control A, and then Command Shift A. It will kind of format the page for me, and this looks much more better to me. You could have left it as it was, but like Command Shift A or Control Shift A normally, that should format the page, and you need to select the whole thing to format it. You can't just like not select anything and do the formatting, it's just gonna like kind of like format the same line that this cursor is at. So make sure to select everything. So anyways, we have this file here, and you could easily do run app over here. Should have saved it, but that's fine. It's asking me to save it. Yes, save it. And this is what you should see. We have like this default slider over here with a chart, and as you like slide this over, it's gonna create you like this histogram for you. And again, we don't really need to bother about what this is. It's a good starter. The one thing that I want you to do is actually open this in browser. So make sure to click on this. It's gonna open it in like your browser, your default browser. I highly suggest to open it in a Chrome or Firefox. Those are best. And right now I have Chrome here, and the reason is because I want to be able to right click here, inspect, and see what's happening here, the elements in this page. And technically you can get this in like Chrome, Safari, or Firefox, or Microsoft Edge, or some other browsers, but it's like always good idea to do it in Chrome. Anyways, this DevTools here is just one thing that we're always gonna take a look and see basically what these elements are, how this thing it works, and we'll make changes here in the styling and then transfer those changes to the app itself. And if you don't know what these are, I've explained these things like the Chrome DevTools, the elements over here in my previous videos. So I'll put a link on the top right corner here. You can go check those videos out. Also in the description box below this video, you should be able to find links to those videos, some basics of HTML and CSS, so that you're familiar with them, and then you can actually understand what's happening here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna basically try and inspect these elements. So I have my body element here, then I have a container fluid over here, and then don't worry about this before or after here. I have this text, heading to text, and then I have a row, and then I have like 2 columns, and these are bootstrap classes. Again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check those videos out. I've talked about bootstrap and what it is. Basically a styling library that gives you, it's styling and JavaScript library that gives you some predefined styles. For example, here you have like this class well, and then that means basically you'll get like this container over here with rounded corners and a gray background. And you can see that if you click on this over here, you'll see that like you have a background color of like grayish, and then border radius of 4 pixels. So this is what you get. And those are all bootstrap stuff that I had previously explained to you in my previous videos, so go check those out. Now, going back to our code, we don't need to worry about that window, but don't close it. If you close it, it's gonna like deactivate this window as well. So don't close that, just put in the background. So as you know, title panel is probably like what we get over here. I have Old Faithful Geyser data here, and then that's what we are seeing over here. The other thing that you should notice is that inside our head, the title of the document is also that, and there it is, Old Faithful Geyser data. So that's good to know that we will be actually adding this to the head for the title of document. So if I change this text right now, that's gonna be my title of the document as well. So let's say my first Shiny app, And then once you save it over there, you just need to refresh over here and you should see the change here. And you should see your h2 over here, and also in head you see this is changed. That's also changed over here, which is basically this title over here. That so that's the first thing. So the idea is that we kind of inspect these elements, and then we want to, for example, change colors, or like we want to change the font size, things like that, and we want to be able to do those in our application over here. To do that, what we need to do is actually add some styling here, and that is going to be possible if we create a CSS file. And to do that, we can actually use this panel over here. I'm already in the first Shiny app directory over here, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create a new folder, same like the same root directory of my project. So I'm gonna do new folder, and I can create www folder here. This has to be www because that's how this R Shiny program will figure out, like, hey, there is this folder, so I need to go in there and see what files are in there. So it will use those files over here. So once we do that, if we go in there, we need to create a new file, and it needs to have extension of CSS. So normally what I do for the CSS part, you could definitely use Rstudio here and do the CSS stuff there as well. But what I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to go inside that folder. So I have my first Shiny app and first Shiny app www. So you could open this in actually in VS Code, and I'm gonna do that right now. So what I did is just drag and drop it over here. So I have this www folder here. I can create a new file, and I will call it styles.css. Now you can call it whatever .css, doesn't matter, just the CSS extension is important, and the name, whatever you pick, that's okay. But it's like a common practice to like give it style or styles.css. So we can leave it open for now. I'm gonna just move it to my other screen, but you should be able to see that over here as well. So I have my styles.css, and that's fine. Now we need to let our Shiny app know that, hey, I have this styles.css and I want to use that, and you need to like apply whatever styles I put in there to my elements in the page. So in order to do that, there are a couple ways, but the I guess more structured way is to use tags, and by that I mean let me reorganize this a little bit over here. Okay, so here right inside my Fluid page, I can actually do tags and then $head. So that means that I am inside my head element right now, and then in there I need to add a link to my CSS file. So again, here I need a tags link, and then for that I'm gonna need some properties over here. Now if you remember from the previous videos where we talked about the CSS and HTML, there are a few things that you need to add in here inside this tags link tag over here to make sure this will be connected correctly to the styles.css. And we can go ahead, actually, if you just double click over here on this empty section in VS Code, and let's say select the language, you can do HTML. Remember, the shortcut was to create our boilerplate was HTML. You start typing HTML and then click on HTML5. And then over here in this head section, if you start typing link and then CSS here, it gives you all you need over here. So what we need is to add these two, rel and href, over here in our link tag, because this is exactly what we have over here. So this will be translated to this. Okay, so I have my rel and I have my href here. This needs to be styles.css, and the other thing we need to do is actually add comma between these two. So that also is needed. Just a little bit spacing here. Oops, over here, just so that it looks good. And then you will need also, I believe, a comma over here, and this should be fine. Now if I save this over here, hopefully you won't get any errors when you refresh this page. What you should see is actually inside this head tag, you should see this style sheet styles.css in here. And now we can go and add stuff to this styles.css. Again, you can add your styles directly in Rstudio, and it does have some auto complete to help here. So for example, if I want to target an h2 element and then I want to change the color, you might see like, hey, this is the color property here, and it has auto complete, so it's good. You can use this, or if you feel more comfortable, you can actually use VS Code to do your styling. It's up to you, however you like it. Since we already are in Rstudio, I'm just gonna keep working on this. And so what I want to do right now is to target this element over here and change the color of it to red. So let's go find out what this element is. I have this element, it's our h2 here. So we can, this is our playground. Remember, here we can make changes as well. So for my h2, I can go actually and do like, let's color and then red. Okay, so that worked over here. So I can just copy it over and then paste it over here. That's also a way you can do it. You don't need this as extra, so just one opening and closing bracket, and then save it, and make sure once you refresh the page, you should see that change here. Because if you hadn't refreshed it, this was not gonna show here. So now we only have one h2 here, so this is gonna be applied to that h2. But if you had another h2 element, this is going to apply to all those things as well. Don't worry about that. In a next video, I will definitely go into more details of how you can actually target different elements that you have here. And then we talk more about more complex stuff there. But for now, let's just focus on things that we can see in this screen, and don't worry about anything else that you might want to add later on. Now, let's say you want to change the color of this, like as you drag it. Right now this is blue. Let's say you want to change that to red. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select this arrow icon over there, and I'm gonna hover over here and click on it, and that's gonna highlight the class, the element that is responsible for this, basically this blue bar over here. And if you look at the styles over here, you should be able to see that, hey, there is a background color here, and that seems to be the color for this bar over here. So if I like click on this guy over here, oops, just this square over here, click on that, it's gonna open this color picker for you, and then you can change the color here and you can see how it looks like over here. Let's say this is the color you want. All you need to do is to copy this hex color, and then now let's create our property over here. So remember, this is background color. So background, here I had background, and then my color is going to be that hex color. So now what should we apply this to? The best way to do that is to look to see if there is an ID for this element, because remember, IDs are unique to an element, and if you apply something to an ID, you will make sure that it's going to be applied only to that element, because IDs have to be unique, so only that element has that specific ID. However, we don't have any IDs here, and there are ways that you can like make sure that it's applied to this one only specifically, and I'll tell you in a little bit how you can do that. But for now, what I'm gonna do, I'm just going to target this class over here. As you see over here, actually down here, you'll see that this thing is where this background is applied to. So I can just like grab this whole thing. If I can copy it, it's easier if you just double click over here and then copy this whole thing inside the class, and then over here make sure to add the dot and then that, and then you're gonna need to have another dot over here as well. So was that what we wanted? So that's actually a little bit different from what we have here. So it's targeting this element using the parent element. So we have irs dash shiny, which is this parent element, and then irs dash bar, which is this element. So we're gonna do the same way. So I'm gonna do actually irs dash shiny and then dot irs bar. We're gonna get rid of this. So it's a good practice to just like do however they do it over here, and you can see like this background is applied to this combination of classes. And again, if you don't know how this works, go check out my other video. It was but in just in a nutshell, you can target an element using its parents also. So for example, I could have gone another level and I would be like, hey, this is a form group, and then I have this span over here, and then I have this like bar over here. So in that case, I could have actually also added dot form group dot irs shiny and dot irs bar. And keep in mind that this is important to add the space in between them. If you don't add the space, this is not gonna work. That's a different thing. If you don't add space, this is not a parent child grandchild relation anymore. It will be like, hey, I have an element that has all these three classes. So if you wanted to target, for example, this class, you could just copy it and then dot that and then dot. So this without a space between the two, it's just like you could add multiple classes to an element, and then for example you could have another span here which could have irs dash bar, but a second element of irs dash bar dash dash double whatever. So you could do that, and there are reasons to do that because they might have like some stuff in common, but you want to make sure that there are some stuff also not in common between the two elements that you want to separate. So you use like one common name and then another different name for the class over here. Anyways, don't get too distracted. All I'm trying to say is that these spaces are important to make sure that we are doing a parent element and then child and grandchild relation over here. So if I save it again over here, if I go back and refresh, this has to be there, and you can see it is there. I have a class applied here, a background color applied to that, and it is overriding this background color which was there by default. That's basically what we did right here. Okay, so that's good. Let's see. Let's say you want to change the label here, the font size of this label, for example. Now, again, first you look if there is an ID, then you use that. If there's a class, if there's no ID, then you can use the class. Then if there is no class, for example, here, we had to use like the element tag itself, h2, which I will, in future videos, I will tell you how you can actually do it a more accurate way, but for now just that's fine. So for this label we have this bins dash label, and so this is coming from what we had here. So our slider input, we actually gave it like a name of bins, and what's gonna happen over here, it's gonna change it to like what the name dash label. So if I had given this like dogs, then let's actually try dogs. It's gonna probably break it because I do have referred to bins over here. So like dogs, and then save it over here and refresh it. You'll see like it's dogs dash label right now. So it's just something that it's good to know. That's how it works in R Shiny. So this label, you can actually target it like that. For now, let's revert it back to bins. I'm gonna save it, and over here I'm going to bring that bins dash label, and since it's an ID not a class, we need to add like this hashtag sign, and then inside here I wanted to change the font size and font weight. So what I am going to do actually is try it over here. So I'm gonna do font size of 24 pixel, for example. So maybe that's too high. You can click on this and then hit the down arrow. So maybe that's a good one, 11 pixels. So I'm gonna do font size 11 pixels. And then for the font weight, you can play over here. It's already at 700. So let's do, for example, 400, which is regular, just like not bold. So yeah, we can do the same thing over here. Font weight 400. Okay, and save it. Now if we refresh it, it has to be there. And you can see it is there. It's overriding what we had over here. All right, so that's good. The other thing I want to show you is maybe for this image, for example. So as you see over here, I have like, if I change this guy, this chart is gonna change, but if you hover over and click on it, you'll see that this is actually an image that's being updated every time. So you see like something flashes over here as I move it. So that's just like a PNG that R is generating. So this is not really something that we can style because this is like an image element, and like I can't style these um, bars over here. And that's why R actually gives you options to change the color and all those things, which we're not going to talk about. Like here it's dark gray, border white. You can like play with these values. So like let's try red over here and then refresh. Now you have red here. So if you see like there is an image over here, then probably R itself, like the program in the server section, you have options to make changes to that. So these are like the basic stuff, color, border, and all that. So this is basically how you style your Shiny app. This is just like one very small example that we had here. It could be like much more complicated, but it's just a good start for now. We're gonna dig deeper later on in everything and see how we can actually like build a website with just like this Shiny application over here. And of course we're gonna publish it to like web. You can do it on shinyapps.io or Shiny server. We're gonna definitely try shinyapps.io. So this was just a good starter because we had talked about HTML, CSS, and so I wanted to make sure that you guys had a good understanding of those things before we jump into this. And I hope actually now you guys learned a few more things. The idea is just like you can check out the elements in this page as they're being created with our Shiny, and then like make changes and add the styling to your styles.css file, which had to be under a www folder. All right, as I said, I will be this was just the beginning, so I will be posting a lot of more other tutorials on this channel. So make sure to subscribe to this channel, hit the like button, and also turn the notification bell on. I will be hopefully posting something soon, and if you turn the notification bell on, you will be notified. So thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you for your support. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to let me know in the comment box what you thought and what you recommend. So thanks a lot.